Football. Oh, that word that leaves nobody indifferent. Everyone has a memory attached to football. They call it the beautiful game, everybody's game, a passionate game that stirs up extreme emotions at both ends. Pain, agony, trauma, joy, ecstasy, euphoria, even to the extent of starting wars.
Was the so-called football war between Honduras and El Salvador in July 1969.
Giving hope and reconciling people. What is football? Is it just a game? Why does it seem to count so much? Why are so many people attracted and attached to it? Association football, or simply football as we may know it today, is a physical game in which two teams composed of 11 players each try to defend your goal and get the ball into the opponent's goal, using various strategies in all the parts of their bodies except your hands. However, each team has a designated goalkeeper who is allowed to handle the ball within the penalty area. A game of football, or a match, lasts at least 90 minutes, split between two halves that last at least 45 minutes each. Basically, at the end of a game, the team that has scored more goals wins the match. Notwithstanding, each competition has its own rules, and the outcome of a game could be won and lost, or drawn, or may need penalties or extra time and then penalties to determine the winner. Football is by far the most popular sport in the world, boasting a staggering 250 million players in 200 countries and a stunning 4 billion followers worldwide, with some events like the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa recording a combined 26 billion views.
In the middle all alone. If Fernando Torres can find him, it's stabbed away uncomfortably to Fabregas. Surely now, Spain have won the World Cup for the first time in history.
With the type of passion and dedication that many fans have for the game, many around the world consider football to be more a religion.
What did a stunning
than a
3-1
sport.
win over four times champions Japan on Friday, February the 1st to make a boost?
Senator Dan Rowan reports.
Talk about painting the town red. This is what it means to be European champions for a sixth time. An estimated 750,000 Liverpool.
But how did we get here? Football as we know it today has come a long way. Several sources argue and lay claims to the origins of the beautiful game, with some sources dating up to thousands of years BC. It must be mentioned that many of these claims describe games that look a lot more like rugby and American football than association football, with the players handling the ball for an important part of the game. However, there are quite a few of these ancient games that look a lot like the football we have today and could possibly be its ancestors. For example, we have ancient China's Kuju, which literally means kickball and dates to about 200 BC. This is probably the most similar ancient ball game to modern football, as it was competitive with standardized rules and players tried to kick a ball through a goal into a net. Kuju was a very popular game in China and was played by both men and women. Other very similar games were later developed in Japan and Korea and were very likely to have links with Kuju. On the other side of the globe, in North America, the natives played a game called Pasukwakuhowo, which is very similar to football.
Who invented this game? What? The gods! Of course!
The name Pasukwakuhowo literally means they gather to play ball with the foot, and it was played between two massive teams that could reach up to 1,000 players who had the objective of getting the ball into the opponent's goal. As previously mentioned, various ball games had existed at various times in various parts of the world, but it is generally agreed in football milieux that the turning point that marked the birth of modern association football was the revolution that happened in the mid-19th century, precisely 1848 at Cambridge University, that laid the foundation for the structuring and organization of association football. In 1863, the Football Association, the FA, was formed following several meetings between various clubs. The aim of the FA was to develop and establish standardized rules by which teams would abide when playing the game. Some clubs were more for playing the game with a lot more handling and tackling and preferred to break away and form the Rugby Football Union, while the remaining clubs ratified the original 13 laws of the game. In 1872, the first organized football competition, the FA Cup, was founded, which is still competed in by English teams today. This inaugural edition was won by Wanderers Football Club, and in the same year, the first official international match was played between Scotland and England in Glasgow. And then, just over a decade later, the first international football competition, the British Home Nations Championship, was played between the 4 British nations, of which there are 4 football associations joined to form the International Football Association Board, which till date, together with FIFA, are the custodians of the laws of the game. After the FA Cup had been played for some years and enjoyed much success by attracting huge crowds on match days, in 1888, 12 clubs, Accrington, Aston Villa, Blackburn Rovers, Bolton Wanderers, Burnley, Derby County, Everton, Notts County, Preston North End, Stoke, West Bromwich Albion and Wolverhampton Wanderers developed a competition format in which they would play against each other in home and away fixtures, and at the end, the team with the overall best point tally wins the competition. This led to the birth of the league format we have today and the forming of the world's first football league, of which the inaugural edition was won by Preston North End. Meanwhile, though women had always been playing football, with records as far back as 200 BC, as women also played Kuju, the first recorded official football game played by women took place in 1892 in Glasgow, Scotland. During this period, women's football grew very popular in Britain and started spreading around the world. Sometimes, their game attendance even rivaled those of their male counterparts, attracting thousands of excited spectators. Unfortunately, some controversial decisions taken by the FA in 1921 banned women from playing on major football grounds, and this greatly hindered the progress of their game as they had to settle for playing in less appealing venues. As league football had huge success in the UK and started spreading around Europe, the idea of having the winners of the various football leagues compete against each other started gaining traction among various football associations. The first of such competitions was the 1895 World Championship, which was a match played between the winner of the English Football League First Division, Sunderland, and the Scottish League Division 1 champion, Heart of Midlothian. The match was won by Sunderland with a scoreline of 5-3, and this paved the way for subsequent interleague competitions like the South American Championship of Champions and eventually the UEFA Champions League and the UEFA Women's Cup. By the end of the 19th century, football had already become a people's game and had spread across all of Europe and the world at large, even making its first appearance in the 1900 Paris Olympics. This meant there was an urgent need for international coordination. To address this need, representatives from the football associations of Belgium, Denmark, France, the Netherlands, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland founded the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, FIFA, in 1904, which today is Association Football's governing body and has its headquarters in Zurich, Switzerland. Despite a difficult start, having to struggle with conflicts of interest between various early member associations, FIFA weathered the storm and organized the first World Cup in 1930, which was hosted and won by Uruguay. On the women's side, The FA eventually rescinded its grounds ban on women's football in 1969, and in 1970, the first Women's World Cup was organized by an independent committee, the Federation of Independent European Female Football. This tournament was played in Italy, which lost to Denmark in the final. It turned out to be very popular and increased general interest in the women's game, which led to the highly successful 1971 Women's World Cup in Mexico, yet again won by Denmark. This culminated in the 90s, becoming a glorious decade for the women's game, as in 1991, FIFA organized the first FIFA Women's World Cup, hosted by China and won by the United States of America. Then, in 1996, women's football was inaugurated at the Atlanta Olympics, yet again won by the United States women's national team. And finally, in 2001, UEFA organized women's football's pioneer international club competition, the UEFA Women's Cup, which was won by Frankfurt FC. Since then, the rest is history, as football has grown ever so bigger, from glory to where we are today. The biggest game, the people's game, the beautiful game.